Well, human rights organization Amnesty International has released a report detailing the arrest, disappearance, and torture of opponents of Yemen's Houthi rebel group. The Houthis are allied to Iran and have controlled Yemen's capital, Sana'a, since September 2014. They continue to fight government forces who have been backed by the Saudi-led coalition forces since March of 2015. Amnesty says it has recorded 60 cases of political opponents of the Houthis being arbitrarily arrested and detained. But the group says the actual number is more likely to be in the hundreds. The detainees include politicians, journalists, and activists, as well as politically unaffiliated people. Amnesty International says some detainees have been held in secret locations. The Houthis deny any political opponents having been detained, while also accusing detainees of working for the Saudi-led coalition. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by our Abubakr Alshamahi. Abubakr, how widespread is this? How widespread are the arrests, the tortures, the disappearances?
In Houthi-controlled areas currently, such as the capital Sana'a, it's extremely rare to see protests and open expressions of dissent, but that wasn't always the case. So when the Houthis first took over the capital in September 2014, for those first few months, there were protests in the streets, and they were attacked by Houthi militiamen and the security forces. And there is also a link between the Houthi militia and Yemen's intelligence agencies, and particularly the NSB, which is closely affiliated with the former president Ali Abdullah Saleh, who is, of course, the current ally of the Houthis. So when Amnesty International talks about, for example, prosecuting authorities in Sana'a, saying that the detainees have been illegally detained and that they should be released, and those detainees not being released, that definitely points to a link with those intelligence agencies. It's also important to remember that there are allegations of detainees also being held in locations that have been targeted by military or by airstrikes, by Saudi coalition airstrikes, in particular high-value targets. And some have accused the Houthis of using those detainees as human shields.
All right, let's take a look at the talks going on in Kuwait now. We're going on for a month now. A lot of people have said they're on the verge of collapse. Both sides have accused each other of violating the ceasefire. The country's foreign minister said it's a waste of time. What do you make of it?
Well, the Yemeni government have basically said that they want the Houthis to agree and to fully confirm their agreement with the UN Resolution 2216, which stipulates that the Houthis have to withdraw from the cities they control. They have to hand over their heavy weapons to the state. Now, the Houthis had actually agreed to that before the talks. Now, they appear to have either changed their tune or disagree with the interpretation of what that resolution now means. And so on the topic of prisoners and prisoner swaps, for example, that was the one thing the UN wanted to come out of these peace talks with. It wanted to come out with at least a prisoner swap between the two sides. And that was on the cards and looked like it was going to happen. That appears to have fallen through, and that appears to have been the last potential positive result of these peace talks. And now that that possibly appears to be off the table, it doesn't look like there's much positives coming out.
All right, definitely not a positive outlook. All right, Abubakr, thank you very much for that analysis.